Hello, Pink Purple Lotus and Lightning family. Welcome to my channel. I'm Sherika, and I wanted to come on today because, as always, I'm always thinking of my son, my oldest son, who had passed, and those who could relate could totally understand that. Again, as I always continue to say, this is just not a wound that is never going to heal. That don't mean you broken. That don't mean that you know you're not going to get over that step hurdle or and those type of things because you are going to get there. It's just a process of how long you are taking, how you want how long you want to take with your process. And again, like I always express, that is your choice, and you don't have a time limit because it's timeless. To be honest with you, of trying to get over that hurdle, of that unfortunate tragedy, that our babies had to go and be angels. Um, I woke up and I was like, I think, like I said, I think of my son constantly. And I was like, you know what? I want to share a story with you guys. And it was our last conversation. My son was 27 years old. So he was a man. He was doing his own thing and, living his life and, and lived it to the fullest, as I always express to all my children to do. And he had called me and wanted to talk. So, I was like, what's going on, son? And this was May 28th, 2020. That was our last really long, in depth conversation that I guess it was on his mind. And he needed to express some things to me. So, I might get teary eyed. I'm just let y'all know that, okay? Because this is an emotional thing that I'm sharing with you guys of our actual last conversation, you know, because a couple of days later he was, unalive. So, um, he had called me and he was like, "Hey, mom, what's up?" That's how you talk. What's up, mom? So I was like, "Hey, son, what's going on?" And he was like, "Mom, I want to thank you." And I was like, "Thank me for what?" He said, "Mom, you always was my best friend. You always was there for me. You never, every time I needed you and called you, you know, you always was there for me, and you always been there for me. And I want to thank you." And I said, "Thank you, son. Thank you so much." And not thinking again, a couple of days later, my son is not going to be here no longer. And I was like, that's really sweet. Thank you, Ramon, because his name is Ramon. And and he said, you know, and I said, "What you been up to?" And how's everything going? And he said, I'm becoming the man that you always wanted me to be. And I had to stop him because I think in his mind at that time that he felt that he had failed me as being, the child that I wanted him to be. And I had to let him know, like, no, Ramon, no, you are a man, you know, and, you are an excellent father, and nobody could, take that away from you. You stand up for all your responsibilities of what you need to do. And he was like, "Thanks, mom. Thanks. I really appreciate that." That's how he talked. And so I was like, why would you, like think that you, wasn't the man that you thought I wanted you to be, which he is. He's so sweet. He was so sweet. He was so loving. He was not selfish. I'm getting teary eyed already. And because I'm thinking back on it. So sorry. I get some tissue, okay? And and he said, you know, and again, as I tell people, when I'll talk about that after this story time and what I wanted to share with you guys. And so I was like, you are, and I think I know he needed to hear that from me. And I didn't realize that he needed that so much. And then he went on to say, Ma, you know, you always been the only one there for me. I'm sorry. And I said, thank you. He's like, even, you always been there. And I told him, you know, uh, thank you. And he said, this is how serious I am. I'm like, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for choosing for me to be your son, you know. And if I had to, he started talking like this, like, he was like, and if I leave and then have to, and if I choose to come back, I wouldn't want nobody else to be my mom but you. You such a amazing mother. But he was like, you a great mom, you know. And I didn't at the time. I didn't know like where's this coming from, but he needed to say that. And I said, thank you, son. And you were amazing. I told him he was an amazing son. And he said, I'm serious, mom. I won't want nobody else to be my mom but you. I will always, continue to choose you. Like I said, he said, his statement was, if I leave here and have a choice to come back, my choice will be to come back for you to be my mom because I don't want no one else in this whole world to be my mom. I'm sorry. And and I at the time, I'm like, okay, thank you. He just kept telling me how great I am, and I asked him where was um his baby, and when we was talking, my grandson was right there. Like next to him, and he FaceTimed me and we talked, but he had this look in his face. Some people say, because of course, like I said, my son was 27. Some people say that you do know when you possibly maybe it's going, to go. Um, that last conversation that we had that was so in depth was a month that was it was a month from when his birthday had came. So his birthday is April 28th, and our conversation was May 28th. So it was a month. And so I was like, I'm just still talking casual because he's here, and I'm like, but once that person is like no longer there no more, once my son was no longer there anymore, it's not like I felt uh lost because that conversation that we had, you know, um, that was so in depth, and he was telling me he's gonna change his life, and um, and that he really loved me, and he mentioned his siblings. He said I need to be the big brother that they need to be for that I need to be for them. Sorry, and I told him, son, you are excellent big brother. You always took care of your siblings, you know, and he was the words I was giving him at that time. I know now he needed to hear those words because I know my son is in paradise and he's at peace and he's not in this 3D realm no more. But that was, his vessel and his soul still, lives on.